The Houston Rockets are the hottest team in the NBA right now, and it's not even really close. 6 straight wins, including taking down the best team in the league last night, with Alpren Sengun outdueling his father. Sengun and Jalen Green have both taken big-time leaps that we were hoping they would take this year so far. I know it's been 9 games, but still, a 6-game winning streak, including beating the Denver Nuggets, kind of shows me that this Rockets team is legit. Okay, Fred VanVleet, Dillon Brooks, Amen Thompson, bringing these guys in has completely changed the outlook of this roster, as well as the new head coach, Ime Udoka. This group has taken big leaps this year. It starts with Jalen Green, who we said needs to be much more efficient. Well, he's averaging 21 points, 4.3 rebounds, and 2.4 assists per game, which are very similar numbers to last year, so you might not think it's that big of a leap, but 45% from the field and 42% from 3 in 32 minutes for Jalen Green. I mean, you get him an actual point guard, and look at what he can do with himself. Last year, to compare, he was 42% from the field and 34% from 3. So much, much better stuff right there. Now, last night against Denver, these stats were put in before the Denver game. So last night versus Denver, he was 1 for 13 from the field. So that'll probably bring his field goal percentage down a little bit. But overall, nice start to the year for Jalen Green and his fellow young buck in Houston, Alpren Sengun, who has taken that next step. 19 points, 8.3 rebounds, 6.1 assists per game. 62% from the field, only 29% from 3, so still some work to do there. 1 steal, not really a big-time rim protector, even though, he has grown to 6'11", despite being 6'9" when he was drafted into the league. Last night versus the Joker, he put up 23 points, 8 rebounds, 5 assists, and did have 2 blocks. So, the clash of unathletic white big men, it happened last night, and Sengun, he played pretty well. Now, Jokic had like 36, 13, and 10, but that's just the Joker for you. Looking at the Joker's third year, however, 18.5 points, 10.7 rebounds, and 6.1 assists per game. So really very similar numbers for the two. 50% from the field, 40% from 3 in 32 minutes for Nikola. Very efficient second or third season for Jokic, 50% from the field. But before we go any further, if you are enjoying today's video, make sure to hit the like button, leave me a comment down below, and hit that subscribe button. As you can see here, a large majority of the people that watch these videos are not subscribed to the channel, so make sure you go do that real quick. This is a perfect place to be if you like NBA content. Now, let's go ahead and continue on with the veterans are ballin'. Dillon Brooks, hey. Okay, the apologies are well-deserved. 14 points a game, 4.3 rebounds, 2 assists, coming over from the Memphis Grizzlies. Now, we know he was one of the better perimeter defenders in the league for the last few years. 57% from the field, 57% from 3, and 1.3 steals in the first, 9 games of the year? And the Grizzlies are a dumpster fire right now. Without Dillon Brooks, without John Morant, Steven Adams, they lost a lot. Fred VanVleet, 16 points a game, 3.6 rebounds, and 8.4 assists tonight. So the 8.4 assists, they're bringing in a true floor general for this Rockets squad instead of Kevin Porter Jr. Fred VanVleet, 38% from the field, 37% from 3, still making more money annually than his field goal percentage, which is sad. But 35 minutes a game, he's playing the role that they need him to. Now, we are still waiting on a couple of guys to break out. Jabari, kind of the same thing goes with Jalen Green here. 12.3 points, 7 rebounds, 1.3 assists. So a very similar stat line to last year, but he shot at like 40% from the field last year in his rookie year. 30-something percent, 32% from 3, I believe. This year, 49% from the field, 37% from 3 in 29 minutes, making me look a little bit better for having him number 1 overall in his draft class in my prospect scouting. And then Tari Eason has played about 3 games. He's averaging 6.3 points, 6.7 rebounds, and 1.3 blocks per game so far. I was kind of expecting a little bit more, but tough for a guy to come in like once everybody else has started coming out with injury. 43% from 3 is very promising in 3 games played, but he's only playing 17 minutes, so you can't expect that much production for Tari, but a really good 3-and-D type guy potentially down the line. And then Amen Thompson, who sprained his ankle against the Charlotte Hornets. in the fourth game of the year. 6.3 points, 2.8 rebounds, and 1.5 assists in about 17 minutes per night for a min. So didn't really get to see too much of him, but he runs like a deer, jumps like a kangaroo. He's going to be fun to watch once he comes back. And something that I'm going to look for is Ime Udoka and his development, because when we saw him in Boston, he turned Jalen Brown and Jason Tatum from, hey, do we need to split these guys up, to, oh, they're one of the best wing duos in the NBA, and oh, look, they're in the NBA Finals. 2 games away from bringing it home, up 2-1 in the Garden. And then Steph Curry just started Steph Currying. So for the Rockets, this is the wing duo that I think can turn into that. Jabari Smith kind of reminds me of Jason Tatum. Tatum is obviously infinitely times smoother, but he's got the same build. And then Tari Eason, he doesn't really have too many similarities with Jalen Brown, but a good wing duo here. They can play defense and rebound. Now, a shocking turn of events in Houston. Looking at some defensive numbers here, and the Houston Rockets are third in defensive rating and fifth in opponents' points per game, 10 games in. Shout out to Ime Udoka. Hats off to him, because last year they were 29th in defensive rating and 28th in opponents' points per game with that young roster. Steven Silas as head coach. They bring in Ime Udoka. Shout out to him. Says a lot. It also says a lot about these vets that they brought in, showing that, hey, you got a young roster. You want to turn them into contenders immediately. Fred VanVleet kind of trashed on him a little bit last year with the Raptors because, he can't be a lead defender on a playoff team. Okay, they bring in Dylan Brooks to complement that, and Fred VanVleet, for his size, is a very good defender. You also bring in Uncle Jeff Green, the old guy there. Shout out to the Rockets. They did a great job bringing in all the right pieces. I was not expecting them to be competitive this quick, but back-to-back wins over Sacramento. Yes, they didn't have De'Aaron Fox. Beat the best team in the league, my Charlotte Hornets. All right. They beat the Lakers. They beat the Pelicans. And they beat the Nuggets. Okay, now all of these games were at home. This was a 7-game homestand, which is something kind of shocking. And they don't play again until Friday, but they do go on a little bit of a road stretch. However, they play the struggling Clippers, who could get to 7-3 very easily. Then they play Lakers, then the Warriors, and then they get the struggling Grizzlies at home. So very easily could be 7, 8, 9, 9-4, 9-5 after that stretch, because a couple of tough games there. But overall, this has been extremely impressive. A scorching hot start for this Houston Rockets team, and it has been fun to watch. This is a fun team. They've got fun players, especially once a man comes back. Once they start getting Cam Whitmore sometime, look out, man. This is shout out to Ime Udoka. He has come in. He and the vets that they brought in have single-handedly overnight changed the course of the squad, as well as Jalen Green being a little bit more efficient, and Alpren Sengun taking the next step. So yeah, that's my take. Make sure to hit the like button and hit the subscribe button if you did enjoy today's video at any point. Obviously, if you made it this far, you enjoyed something. So hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and with all that being said, thank you so much for watching today's video.